Hello and welcome to the Owl Recap, a talk show focusing on the Overwatch League. I am BlazzinBob, and today I'm joined by Mel. How you doing, Mel?
Hi, I'm here.
And I'm joined by a very special guest. Please welcome for the first time to the show, Valiant superfan Victor Young, a.k.a. Brick McVictory. What is up, Brick?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Special. Let's slow down. I don't know about special,
We're setting the bar high here.
yeah, a little setting me up here. High expectations.
Yeah, well, if Victor looks a little familiar to you, it's because he was on camera a lot as one of the Valiant super fans in season 1, and we're gonna
paid actors.
paid actors. We're gonna have a here. I'll get to that in a second, but first, we're going to start the show always by thanking our recap producers, Shazir and Thrill. They are at the $10 or more mark, and that makes them producers. They contribute on Patreon.com. You can too. Also, we have a new Patreon. Welcome, Slippery Snake to the scene. I think he's trying to bank on that $1 to win $20, and it's a good bank right now. So you guys should get in while it's hot.
Good strategy, Slippery Snake.
Yep.
Solid.
Real quick at the top of the show, we've told you about the Watchers Brawl that we have been involved in the past several weeks.
We could probably just skip this section of the show if you'd like.
And we just wanted to let you know that we are done now. We lost our second match today to a GM Masters team. They were really good. They played well. And it was a good time. They're going to do another tournament soon, so please check them out at twitch.tv/thewatchersow.
Did you say it was a good time?
Yes.
Okay. I was just clarifying.
All right, so tonight we have a few different things we're doing. First off, we're going to interview Victor, the newest member of our team, and give you a little bit of insight on what he's going to be doing for our recap. We're going to cover the news as always, and then we're also going to cover some narratives you might want to follow for season 2. And so without further ado, let's get this show moving. All right, so first off, Victor Young. Victor is a Valiant super fan. You've seen him on TV a ton, or on Twitch at least. He goes to the arena, sometimes a couple times a week, sometimes once, but he goes quite often. What he's going to be doing for us this season is he's going to be doing on-site interviews at the arena. So we will be getting those back. We originally had those weekly when Aid Morrow was on the show, but then he had to leave due to just life, and we no longer had that avenue. So Victor is going to bring us into that avenue. So, Victor, why don't you tell us what got you interested in the Overwatch League?
Well, Overwatch League was kind of my first real foray into the esports world. I didn't really know anything about esports or what it really was, other than I knew it was dudes playing video games professionally. But what kind of got me into the Overwatch League?
Which is cool, right?
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Growing up our entire lives, we were told, "Hey, don't play video games. You're not going to do anything with that." And now dudes are getting paid to do it, so good for them.
Thanks, Mom.
Born in the wrong era, guys.
Thanks, Mom. Dang it. All that homework, could have been playing video games, right? But yeah, so what kind of got me into it was actually one of my clients at my work works for Blizzard, and he kind of told me about it and told me about the the setup and the whole geolocation idea, where they're dedicating teams to towns versus just random names like Cloud9 or Envious, so on and so forth. So as a traditional sports fan, that's kind of what pulled me in and got my attention, because it makes it easier to follow when you're not I don't know anything about TSM, but I know that there's an LA team, right? Or there's in this instance 2, right? Which for LA it always seems there's 2.
Well, and then they kept getting sold, and then they'd have a different name, and then it was like, wait, who is
and they would
this
just
again?
change their name weekly, and it was things like the underwear ninjas in pajamas.
Yeah.
Same thing though. Same thing.
So So with this, it's a little easier. Like you got a team name, you got a city that you're attached to, and so that kind of was like the first thing that got my attention and pulled me in.
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
Well, so that's what pulled you in, but what kept you coming back week after week? Because you were going like twice a week regularly.
Yeah, for a while there, I was going almost very like the first 2 stages. I was there at least 2 days a week, sometimes more. And then work took over and got a little busy, couldn't go as much. But anyway, yeah, so like just the games really. I mean, I was always playing Overwatch for a long time. I was like the console pleb, as we always joke, right?
Yep.
Playing on like Xbox, and I always enjoyed the game of Overwatch. And then going to the arena, there's just this feeling of almost literally like a traditional sporting event where there's a lot of energy in the building.
Especially
so
when you guys are there.
we do that on purpose with the whole. We want to be like the I don't want to say soccer hooligans because sometimes they get a little rowdy, but we want the energy to be there. We want people to have a good time, like we're having a good time.
You do the soccer thing, but without the fighting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we're not there to bully people. I mean, we'll razz you a little bit about your opposing team if you're not a Valiant fan in my instance, but that's all fun and games. Like if you're a Fusion fan, or in this instance, some of the new teams, that's good for you. Be the fan of who your fandom, right?
Unless you're a Gladiators fan, right?
Yeah, unless you're a Gladiators fan, like
you had your choice and you chose wrong according to
Okay, so I was there a couple times during that. How does that chant go? Because you guys would be one side would be on the left, one side would be on the right. You guys would chant back and forth at each other.
Yeah, so
shields up.
So theirs is always shields up. I mean, as much as I don't like the Gladiators, that's one of the better catchphrases in the league, right?
Damn it.
Yeah, they got that one pretty good. And the Valiants is because like if you look at the logo, it's like kind of like has some wings coming off of the helmet of the Valiant helmet kind of thing. So, we always chant back and forth, like wings out, shields, shields down.
And you guys had props too. Like you guys would have masks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I think it was I'm not sure if it was the Valiant that provided that or who, but there was a guy usually during those matches they're handing out gear. So like one time they gave out the Thunder Sticks that were Valiant branded, which I liked a lot. But me and my buddy Jeremy, who I always go with, we were smacking too hard. We popped those things.
Didn't like them.
Jeremy's he's the huge buff dude, right?
He's the buff guy. Yeah, everyone really knows him. He's the one that's just he's definitely, he doesn't miss leg day,
Good for him.
Oh, Mel, do you have a question?
There he is.
Yeah. I don't miss leg day either because I don't schedule leg day, so I can't miss it.
I can't miss it if you don't schedule it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about your journey. Well, you kind of told us about your journey. So I really just kind of want to know who your favorite Valiant player is.
Well, I mean, the easy answer is Custa, right? Because he's kind of got the leadership thing going on. He's very approachable. He's friendly. Good
He's
guy.
also from the Fuel, though. So
yeah, previous Fuel trade.
Negative 10 points, but
yeah, but he's the easy answer and usually the obvious answer. That most people in the Valiant community will say is Custa. But for me personally, as a guy who when I play a lot of tank, and I'm an off tank typically if I can be. Lately, it's been a lot of main, but it's Space. Yeah,
Space. Hell yeah, dude. Space is awesome.
We got to interview Space. He's
absolute monster diva. His Zarya is top notch too. Good guy as well. He's working really hard. I think to kind of step up into that like shot caller team leader role as well.
He's super bright too.
Yeah,
like
smart guy, and so that's kind of my guy there, Space. So
full disclosure.
Jeremy will always tell you though it's Custa.
Was it soon left?
No. I mean, before Space started playing, it was probably I was rooting for Soon a lot. But I was always attracted to the tanks again. So I always liked Envy when Envy was still with the roster. Just because I was a diva main, like that was my bread and butter. So watching my favorite team and watching my favorite character made it easy to go with Envy. And then Fate's a top notch main tank, so I watched him a lot too. But Soon, I mean, it's hard not to like Soon. I mean the chant, right? So that actually was it's possible it was created before, but on that day, or the first time at Overwatch League, you heard the Soon chant. That was me and my boy. We started that.
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
And I don't. It's possible it was before that. I don't know that we're the ones that created it, but we definitely were there.
You're the
doing
ones
it
that got
day.
it going.
Yeah, we're the ones that were doing it that day, and it just. I feel like every time since then, it kind of just stuck, and now it's a thing. So hey, don't forget the 10% of that is.
Right.
Now it could maybe be space.
Yeah, right.
To infinity
we'll
and beyond.
Right, Space Jam, right?
There you go.
But
See, you got this.
but,
All right, so
yeah.
excluding Valiant from your list, you can't pick Valiant for these
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
Okay. So which team did you like the most in season 1?
Is this based off of players, my personal like, or actual performance?
Whichever one you want.
Okay. So originally before I was figuring out who I really liked, I was gonna go with Fuel Dallas actually.
Burn blue, baby.
Yeah,
Good job for getting off that bandwagon early.
And I still I still like them. I still watch them closely. I like Mickey a lot. Mickey is all around good guy, and during the beginning of Overwatch League, a lot of people viewed him as the diva again. So as a guy who was growing,
even people that hate Fuel are like, but I like Mickey.
Everyone loves Mickey.
I don't like Fuel, but Mickey. I mean, you give me Mickey, I got it.
Mickey's great. So yeah, I kind of always got a soft spot for Dallas, and that whole thing. But yeah, they're pretty high on my list. I never disliked Houston as a former veteran and pro USA almost everything. Their roster being pretty heavy, full of Americans, it was hard to root against them too.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of Houston too, even though the banter we do. Still a big fan of Houston.
Yeah,
but,
I mean it's
it's
healthy rivalry, right? You gotta have that. I feel like outside of, in my opinion, I think the Gladiators Valiant rivalry is probably the best in Overwatch League. The second best has got to be the fight for Texas, right? I think it's probably Houston Dallas. So
it's good. It's gonna be cool when they do that at the home stadium.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. I think. I think they're selling tickets like that for crazy rate already. I don't even know if they're sold out, but from what I understand, they're not missing.
Well,
yeah,
let's hope we can get media passes. If not, I'm gonna have to call Hastro. Somebody give me his number.
Yeah, there you
go. So it's still excluding the Valiant. Which team do you think is going to be the scariest in season 2?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say anybody but NYXL, right?
Or
I know they didn't. There's
London.
other options, right? London, Philly. And London got hot in the playoffs. Philly got really hot in the playoffs, and London was really good all year as well. But I mean, if you look at like the year as a whole, I mean, NYXL was dominant. They were very dominant, and I don't know how this meta change is going to affect them really. But it's hard to bet it. Like what we've seen shows NYXL is going to be strong, right?
Right.
So.
They have a lot of DPS options.
Yeah,
so...
they're deep at DPS, right? Especially with some of the new options, right? And sometimes that creates a logjam and you're confused, right? But I mean, sometimes it's also a good problem to have, right? Having too much is not always a bad thing. So
yeah, I mean, we saw him use Pine pretty effectively.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see. But it's hard to say anybody against anything against NYXL. They're deep.
And I got to watch a video of Sabiobi freaking out about a spider in his room. It was the funniest video I've ever seen.
Dude, SBB is
epic.
Cool like the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
Like that guy is just like, and he's
Charisma.
posing all the time. Like when you're in interviews and stuff, it cracks me up, man.
Oh, a press conference. He's just literally there for the camera. Nothing else.
Oh no, he gets it. He understands.
Yeah. Got it down. All right, so decked out in Valiant Garage Week, were there any teams that stand out to you that were super just friendly?
Not in particular. I mean, the Gladiators guys are always, there was always a lot of back and forth, but it was never, vicious. But yeah, I mean, so we'd always razz each other a lot. So there's always a
fun rivalry.
There, yeah. But no, other than like super friendly, no. But there weren't any that weren't either, right? There weren't anybody that I was like, oh man, those Dynasty fans, oh god, man, like
those are the worst.
They're unbearable, But
because you don't speak the same language as.
Yeah, I mean,
So you just didn't know.
Well, now you're gonna have you're gonna have the Paris fans and
internal, yeah.
I thought in your general direction.
Yeah, and I feel like Paris is kind of like forgetting that this is not a World Cup. I feel like they're like,
dude, their fans are crazy, man. They're
they're
so
this
good.
Is Paris, we want French players, and that's all we want. And if you're not French, don't sign up. So
it is weird. Like that's just not the model. Have you ever?
No, I mean even in
traditional sports team that has players all from their region?
No, I mean soccer's probably the best model for that. Soccer and probably basketball, right? And in soccer, like I think most of you have your national team, USA, Argentina, whatever, right?
Right.
But none of those, most of those players, like most of the best players in USA, don't play in USA. They play in the English Premier League, right? They don't play for I can't even remember the name, or MSL. Sorry, but that's so it's kind of weird that they're doing that. Which I feel like people who don't know traditional sports, they just assume they associate Paris, French players.
We need Paris,
Seoul. We need Korean players, right? But
yeah, it's not the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I think as people educate themselves more about the league, and they'll understand that that's not the case. And it's more you want to get the best players regardless where they're from. So.
Right. Your city will follow you if you win.
Exactly. Yeah. Winning's a cure-all. Winning fixes everything.
So this last question here is there is a right answer. So I'm looking for the right answer. What are you most excited for in Al Season 2?
Most excited for? That's I don't know. Probably to see how this goats meta plays out. See if it's actually the meta or if it's gonna. Oh no! Oh, okay.
Wrong answer. Joining the Al Recap team.
Oh, duh.
And getting to meet so many players.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I missed the obvious there.
He was going towards the game.
Yeah, you set me. Yeah, you set me up for the hit, and I completely struck out there.
But yeah, I'm excited to see maybe goats go away because I like watching DPS, and they're well over half the roster. So
yeah, and that's kind of what I was going at too. Like, because I from what I understand, right? Like they've made a lot of changes recently with the recent patch, right? With the Reaper thing that we mentioning earlier. And then with obviously with the Diva Matrix being nerfed again, like maybe that's I think that's an obvious push that they want to move the meta away from goats so that you're not just seeing nothing but goats and owl. Right. But I think at the top tiers you're still going to see goats for a while until people really figure out when and where to play Reaper and if he's viable. I mean, I
don't think he's going to be viable on a lot of maps, but I do think he's going to be played.
Yeah, he will. I mean, he's the easiest tank melter in the game right now, so. I think you're gonna see I've been jokingly calling it the Switch meta. So I think you're gonna see goats, and then in response to goats, you're gonna see Reaper, and in response to Reaper, you're gonna see snipers, and then
I don't know. I think you're gonna see Sombra Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of that. I think you'll start school dive from teams that don't know how to play those guys. Like the teams that struggle with Sombra and struggle with Wrecking Ball, they'll probably in response to snipers. Fair is better than Reaper. I see that. We'll probably go old school dive to deal with snipers, right? So I think you're going to see I think you're going to see the teams that succeed the most throughout the season are the teams with the deepest hero pools.
Right. Which is cool.
Which I think that's great for the health. I think that's great for the health of the league.
Yeah, and I mean something that a lot of people don't realize is. Your DPS players need to be the most versatile because they're the ones that need to change and counter the most often.
Yeah, I think that's the area you definitely need the deepest hero pool. I mean, look at tanks in last season, right? I mean, Space played Diva almost always. Like every now and then he'd pull a Zarya out or maybe a Hog out, but for the most part, you played Diva and you played Ryan or Winston, or every now and then you'll throw Zarya and Winston or Ryan. I mean, but
Yep.
But the character pool is so much deeper as DPS,
correct.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Right. There's way more. Yeah, there's way more.
Three main tanks.
Yep.
Yeah, three main tanks and 4 off tanks, and that's it right now. Yeah. So I think hero pool depth at DPS is very important, and in the goats meta, which I'm hoping as a Valiant fan we hold on to that as long as possible because I think our tanks are very good, right? And our DPS are kind of suspect right now. We don't know what we're going to get from them. Hopefully they pan out and they're great, and not, then
I don't know. I'm a
As a Houston
big
fan, I'm in
fan.
the same boat there, Victor.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know. You have league, sir, but agilities is really, really good.
Really good. Yeah, I think projectiles is not the issue on DPS. I think it's making sure we have a hit scan for the Valiant, right? Is our Widow going to be played by KSF? Because from what I understand, the Valiant seem to really think he's going to be the guy, or is it going to be Kareev flexing over to DPS to play Widow again, and then Izayaki comes in for support?
Or is it going to be Buddy?
Bunny playing, because he's a tracer player, right? So has he figured out how to play like the sniper? Or
I think I saw him play a little bit of sniper, but usually it was soon, so I'm just not sure.
Yeah, it was usually soon, and I understand like you're saying right now that Kareev doesn't like DPS. He wants to stay flex support, and I hope that's the case, because I find he's much better at that. I think he's significantly better as a Zen or in that role than he is as a DPS hit scan guy. Because I feel like they tried that experiment in what was it, stage 2, when they had like their worst record of the state. I think they went 3-7, and he was struggling. Agilities was struggling. Unko was struggling, and then
but the way to fix all of that is just a trip to In and Out.
One trip to In and Out, right?
One trip to In and Out. They're building one across the street from my house. I'm gonna get so overweight.
Oh, congrats! Delicious, by the way.
It's so good.
I'll teach you about the secret menu. Don't worry.
Oh, dude, I go there. It's like the first place I hit when I hit LA every time, and I go to LA a lot now with this podcast. But we should move into news.
Yeah.
So, general news, we have the expansion team's jerseys finally fully revealed. They look good. I haven't seen one in person. Have either of you gotten a new jersey since they changed manufacturers?
No, I haven't. I still have both my original jerseys.
Yeah, no, I still have the crappy one that keeps fraying and has like
the traditional soccer jersey that's not high end soccer jersey. But,
I think I'm gonna need to frame my Harry Hook one, because I've watched it just a couple times and it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at least you have one with Harry Hook on it. Like, I have one before those that didn't have any names on it.
Yeah, both of mine are that way. Yeah, both of mine are that way. Yeah. But I also have I think I have a KSF away jersey.
Do any of the expansion team jerseys stand out to you guys as looking really good?
Yeah, I kind of like the Vancouver one.
Dude, I really like the Vancouver one. I hear a lot of people talking smack on that, and I'm like, are you kidding, dude? It looks great.
No, I think it looks good. I'm kind of a naysayer of like old school Seahawks colors as a football guy, but I mean they did a good job where they made the blue and the green kind of look really clean. So that's the first one that jumps out to me, and then obviously everyone wants to talk about the Spark jerseys, but those are.
I might have to get one.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're legit. Any franchise that's got the wherewithal to go, let's go pink and blue, and that's our thing. Like, all right, you're pretty legit. So I'm sure they're gonna cash in.
Let's take it from Runaway before they can snag it up.
Yeah.
See, I've gotta like the team before I spend the money on a jersey.
I mean, if I was
no way.
If I was a baller player in the league or something, I had the cash maybe, but I'm not. So
join the club, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I thought
the Hunters one though looks like the Philadelphia Fusion old jersey.
Yeah. I thought this. I kind of had like the same thought when I looked at it. I was like, well, it doesn't look bad, but it.
Well, the Fusion changed up their jerseys too, though.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like it's going to be confusing now. It's like, well, it looks like their last season's jersey. I don't know.
I really like the Atlanta Reign jerseys.
You don't like it?
I do like.
Oh, do?
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the Reign, or are you talking about the Defiant? Which one are we talking about here?
Reign.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I agree. They look exactly the same almost.
Yeah, but no. I mean, black and red always look good together. I mean, I'm wearing black and red right now, right? So
I can't like any team that's black and red though, because there's so many of them. I just can't like it.
Just easy color choice. I mean,
right? Be more original. and it might like you.
All right, well, moving into new sponsors for teams. Mel, do you want to tell us about the 3 new sponsors?
Well, sure. So we have Samsung is sponsoring Gen G, which is the owner of Seoul Dynasty. So they're providing high performance SSDs for Samsung from Samsung, and then giving them like a streaming studio room. Unfortunately for Seoul Dynasty, this is only happening at their Seoul headquarters. So they might get to use it next year. But that's fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those are the best SSDs on the market. I have 2 of them in my box right here.
I mean, that's a kind of, I mean, that makes sense though, right? Like Korean company, Korean team.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy segue there to land that, and it's one of the biggest companies. So I'm sure they're happy to have that as a sponsor for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Then we have Aris is now sponsoring Philadelphia Fusion. So they're
Go. I was gonna say, is that the modem company, right?
Yeah, they're a
yeah.
telecommunications provider,
Yeah.
and Fusion's owned by Comcast, and Comcast has frequently worked together with Aris on different, like, providing internet and whatnot. And so, yeah, they're joined forces, and now the Aris logo will be on the front of the new jerseys.
Oh, that'll be like their sponsorship patch? Oh, okay.
Yep, and we'll provide the articles these come from, so you can take a look at the emblems if you would like. Just check the show notes.
Right. And then we have Events DC was announced as Western Justice's founding partner and signature sponsor. So Events DC has a venue, and they'll be hosting watch parties for the Justice Owl games.
Oh, that's cool. I think that's a cool idea. Smart idea. Starts building a fan base a year before you're there, right? So.
Right.
Yep. Which
I think it starts building a fan base, and it gives them
a place to go,
a venue.
Yeah, a place for their fans to get together and enjoy the experience together. So that's good. Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
it's cool to see people. Sorry, I think it's cool to see people getting sponsors now, right? Because we talked about earlier in the season that kind of 3-year mark was going to be a struggle, because that's when all the sponsors signed up year 1, and then year 3 they kind of end. Yeah. So it's nice to get these additional sponsors in, just showing the sustainability.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. You got to keep the league alive one way. Sponsors are a big way that happens. So
sponsors are a huge way. In fact, like what I would like to see is it be like I'm not really into NASCAR, but I want like the jerseys to look like the NASCAR cars with just like sponsors patches all over them.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They talked about that with the NBA too, and people were starting to get real nervous. The
NBA
is going the same route as Owl with just one sponsor on the shoulder, which I think looks much better.
Yeah, it definitely looks better than the Jack in the Box right in the middle of the chest of the Dallas Fuel jerseys. Oh.
Just put it on the shoulder.
That was ugly.
It's cleaner. Oh man, you're getting ripped apart by chat right now, Bob.
Hey man,
I think they agree with me and Mel on this one.
The memes are real. We should make up like a mock-up of it. So on to some team news. So the Chengdu Hunters have been having visa problems, and I'm going to try not to mess this up, but Zheng Yang Zhaolong Zhao of the Chengdu Hunters has been denied his visa. He's a hit scan player, one of the 3 DPS players they have on the roster. They are trying really hard to get him in. That's funny because the Fusion was hush hush on their visa problems going into season 1, and they just tweeted out about it, so I thought that was interesting.
That were having that issue last season, right? Like the visa issue.
I just remember the big one was the Fusion. I mean, they had a bunch of players that were slow to get over here.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely had the most problems. I think they didn't even make the preseason, if you remember.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's right. They didn't even really get a preseason together. And look at
Right,
them. And ended up in the championship.
Yeah, that's fine. But then, like Geggery, when she was signed by the Dragons,
Yeah,
it
she had
took
issues too.
weeks
Yeah.
for her to get here.
I think
So
that was a big reason that they Dragons went with a lot of players they went with too, because they were having an easier time getting those players visas, even though they
mhm.
weren't necessarily. Which is another team that did the same thing that Paris is trying to do right now. A bunch of Chinese players for the China team.
Hey, we saw in the World Cup, Chinese players aren't
Hey, they can
so
do it.
bad.
No, they can
But
do it. They're definitely decent. You just gotta get the right ones, and I think they didn't. I mean, I
yeah, they
remember
failed.
I remember reading an article that they weren't even signing the most prominent
They
players for
weren't.
China. They were signing
Yeah.
the ones that could just get them, get to the game.
Get to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think there's been a lot of visa issues from China specifically coming to America from China. So
Yeah.
I hope he
We're
makes it here.
coming to America.
Yeah, so my question is that I guess it wouldn't be a visa, it'd be a passport, but you think that the league might run into that kind of issue traveling internationally, like with the once the geolocation becomes a real thing and you're seeing teams travel from, say Los Angeles to, Hangzhou or
I think it's
any of those
going to
cities?
be. I
Something they'll
think.
probably have to pre-plan for.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it'll
Like,
depend on if they're planning on if they do the thing where teams go to a region and stay for a couple months and verse everybody there. If they really try and do where they just go weekly to the different locations, then they would just have to use a passport at that point. But if they're going to stay there and work, then that will probably be a problem.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was curious. I want to know what you guys thought. 'Cause I didn't even think of that until like just now.
right.
I was like, well,
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
definitely
thinking about it
something
a
that I think
lot.
it'll probably be a barrier to them getting home venues for sure, right? Whether it's 1 week or 1 month or 3 months, I think
yeah,
it's just going to be something they're going to have set into place before the season even starts. Like, hey, all of these players have visas to travel here or passports to travel here and play the games, and
yeah,
then go from there.
yeah. I think it's going to be interesting to watch how the schedule makers handle that too. Like, do you fly to China and then fly to Houston and then or do you go to play one of the teams in China and just run the gamut and go down the line through all the China teams on your road game and then fly back?
I think that's what it's got to be. I mean, I think
Right?
that's to make sense. I think that's what it's got to be.
Well, I
think
mean,
for
similar to way they're going to do home games this season, right? Where they have 6 to 8 teams traveling to that state,
yeah,
and then they play a weekend there, and then they come
yeah,
back, right?
Yeah, I really
yeah,
think that's how the home stadiums are going to be. I don't
yeah,
think this third year is going to be. I think the third year is going to be a remote location every
yeah,
week, but I think it'll be a lot of teams going to it. But
yeah.
I do know that there was a tweet that was deleted um, coming out from the Overwatch League Twitter? It was
Yeah,
saying
player.
that hey, make sure and go to the Blizzard Arena for the last year that it's here, or something to that effect. But they deleted it, so I didn't really want to
Yeah,
mention it
that would
with
surprise me.
any.
I just assumed that the Blizzard Arena was going Gladiator. That became their home arena. That's what that was going to do, unless maybe
Well,
both those teams'
y-
ideas was like we want a bigger arena.
yeah,
But
well, and you have to
Right.
think that's on Burbank Studios. That's the old 2 night show
yeah, that was all
location.
the Jay Leno place. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, you'll get to see here coming up soon. But if you go downstairs to where all the teams practice, there's still the Jay Leno stuff all over the walls. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is weird.
But this next bit of news, I'm gonna let Melissa take over because it hits close to
It's
home.
just a it's just a rumor, and I don't even know how much it would affect anything. But Texas Esports is looking to sell the Houston Outlaws, basically, and I think it's just the fact that the team could change hands, which
uh,
may affect
is
some of the
Houston
management.
is that are they Optic Gaming? Is that Is that
Mhm.
Houston? So when they're
I
saying
think
they're going to
so.
sell Houston, are they going to sell all of that Optic Gaming or just the Houston part of it, the Outlaws?
Well, apparently they've been like laying off a bunch of people. I think they're in like financial problems, but they've been laying off a bunch of people. So I think they're trying to sell some of their investments.
Yeah, that's the fastest way
So,
to save something is to sell something. So.
right. So I think
Actually,
Houston.
I have some insight on this because I was part of a company where they had a IT staff of about 55, and they laid off 30 employees in one day from the IT. And the whole reason that they did it is because they were gearing up to sell. And I guess having less staff makes it easier to sell.
Yeah.
So maybe Texas Esports is selling themselves.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, there's a lot of fluency in the Houston area. They'll probably find someone that's interested in buying an esports team. Maybe they
Right.
end up. A lot of times, when this happens to a franchise, sometimes it ends up as a better thing. Like, I mean, look at the Dodgers. Like but back before, was it Frank McCourt owned the team, and then they got the Magic Group to buy him, and now look at the Dodgers are a perennial team fighting for
Right.
a championship. Same with the Sacramento Kings. They had the Maloof brothers, and they couldn't do anything with them. They got rid of them, and now Vivek Ranadive owns them, and they're fighting for a playoff spot for the first time in 12 years. So a lot of times it helps, I think, to get an owner that's willing that understands what it takes to win. One and two is willing to spend to win. So
Right. For sure. And I think Houston will be fine. Bob and I last night were watching YouTube, and he showed me the like skydiving video from Dallas, and I was like, oh my god, it's so funny. Let me watch a Houston video now, Bob. I'm done with your Dallas people. So I watched a Houston video, and I was like, damn, this is not as cool.
The
And I was,
Dallas
like, really
videos are so
annoyed,
good.
right? But just the production team, I'm sure, is the pure aspect of what made that a better video than what
Oh
Houston
wow.
did.
Well, there you go. Somebody says in the chat, Texas Esports LLC, the majority owner of Infinite Esports and Entertainment, is looking to sell its stake in the esport organization at a price of $150 million, according to a report by ESPN. That's a lot of money.
Ticket.
That's a lot. I mean, if they're buying the entire company, that makes a little bit more sense, right? But I mean, if they're just buying the Overwatch portion, that's a lot of money. I mean,
I think it's a big
almost,
piece of the company. I think it's over
yeah.
it's over 51% of ownership.
Yeah, I mean, like that's if they're buying Outlaws at that, I think it's going to be all of them, but probably the whole majority ownership, right?
Yep.
But if they're buying just the Outlaws for 150 million, they've just spent 3 times probably what most teams and even the expansion spent. So that's if that's a sign of the value of your team as an owner already after 1 year, I mean that's not a bad thing if you're the owner.
Right.
Next
For sure.
up, you have the Dallas Fuel in the in the show notes here, talking about them hosting an esports tournament in April. Haven't we already covered that?
I don't think so. It's at the Allen Event Center.
Isn't that
it's a
their
2-day
home game?
gaming festival?
Yeah,
no.
It's not in conjunction with with their actual away thing.
I
When are
believe
their
it's
away
the
home
away
game? Their home
games.
game?
Yeah, I mean they even have the schedule. Yeah, it's definitely.
Is it the same dates?
It would be really smart if they did that. I mean, might as well turn it into a huge event and try to capitalize.
Yeah,
on the
I mean you have Paris, London, Hangzhou, Chengdu, Houston, Seoul, Los Angeles, Dallas. Like they're all. Yeah, this is the home
bad.
game.
I didn't read the article.
Well, we'll cut it from the audio version. It's where the majority of people hear this, so you guys got a little specialty here, the live version.
The live version.
But
Sorry.
next,
some extras.
Next, we have some juicy TMZ content here with Cwoosh calling out former assistant coach of the Mayhem. Do you want to cover that, Belle?
I mean, so Mayhem reduced Ryder or our tutor. I don't know.
Ryder.
Whatever he was. I don't see
our
how
tutor. We are calling it now, chat. We are calling him our tutor.
Like, I want to say Ryder, but 2 doesn't translate into an I or a Y.
No,
I just don't
it doesn't.
understand. So I'm gonna call him
okay,
R-tutor.
so basically,
maybe it's like an R2D2 thing. Like maybe that's where he's going.
See, there we go. But basically,
R2D-der.
so the Mayhem assistant coach was let go, and Cwoosh came out on Twitter saying that this was the best decision that the Mayhem could have done. He was lazy, arrogant, and didn't care for his players. That's traits in a coach that shouldn't be there, right? And he wasn't the only one. Logic said something about how he refused to coach Mayhem players, and there's a lot of controversy about R-tutor.
Yeah, he basically called him lazy, but then Ryder did come back and he basically just said, you know what? And I mean, it made a lot of sense because he said, you know what? Our head coach left. I was the only coach on the entire staff. I was trying to work on strategy. I didn't have time for the players, and I'm sorry about that. But I mean, if you look back,
Ryder, your strategy wasn't working, so maybe make time for your players and see if improving their morale is a better strategy than working on strategy that's ineffective.
But you have to think, though. You have to think he was the only one on the staff, like of a 6-man team.
Yeah, to be fair to him too, like I mean, he might have got let go, but so did almost the entire Mayhem roster. I mean, I think including Cwoosh, right? Is he still one of those that survived?
No, Cwoosh is now on a contenders
team. I think Cwoosh is on contenders now. Logix is on. Logix is, in my opinion, I thought Logix was surprisingly the one that I thought they were going to keep, because he had moments that he looked pretty decent here.
He looked really good in stage 1. The problem is, though, is he had personal problems and like obviously the Mayhem wasn't. Well, obviously the Mayhem didn't care a lot about their players or just dropped the ball management-wise. So they're of course not going to stick by someone with problems.
6 players, right? Like they didn't have any subs.
The only team,
right.
They had poor old Pluppy driving the bus.
Were they the smallest ownership group too?
I'm not sure about that actually.
I mean, it's quite possible. If that's the case, then that's usually a sign of a problem. You don't got the money to support the team. It's hard to.
Right, you spend a lot of money to get it, and then you got it.
Yep. and now you can't do anything with it because you spent all your money on it. So
right, but I do think it's something that people need to consider. Right, like your job as a coach is not just to develop the best strategies and to give your team the keys to victory. Right, like that's not your only job. A good coach is there to help you when you guys are falling apart, is there to build you back up, is there to teach you and train you and say, you guys, it's not the end of the world if we lose today, but here's what we have to do to make us feel better about going into tomorrow, right? Like that's what a good coach would do, and that's what he didn't do. Now, yes, he may have been under stress, he may have been under a lot of things that had to get done, and this could not it could be something that doesn't truly reflect the coach that he could be in the future. But as of right now, I don't blame the Mayhem people for calling him out. I don't like the way they did it. I think it's kind of catty, but I think that there's probably some truth to it. I think that he probably did push those players into a hole that they couldn't find their way out alone, and he wasn't there helping them.
I just want you
that's quite possible
to put yourself in his position, though. He was probably hired. He was hired as the assistant coach, analyst, probably. The head coach left. The head coach left. Yeah, the head coach left, and he was just put into this unwinnable situation. And
right, so step up to the plate. Step up to the plate.
But not everybody can do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, not every assistant coach is designed to be a head coach. There's a lot of career assistants and a lot of things. So,
right,
maybe
I agree.
It's quite possible that being a head coach wasn't his role. Maybe he's just his job. Maybe he is just a strategy guy. Like he doesn't have the tools to be a leader or a coach, or I guess not a coach, but the skills coach, I should say. Maybe he is just strictly an X's and O's guy. So
well, and he didn't speak their language either, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being on the outside looking in. There's always there's speculation. It's hard to tell what actually happened.
But I think it does say a lot about just the fact that coaches are so crucial in general, right?
Oh yeah.
If you don't have a good coach, you're gonna fail.
Yeah, Patriots are in the Super Bowl all the time for a reason, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna cut that from the actual audio.
No, you can keep it in. Yeah, Patriots are in the Super Bowl because they find ways to cheat all the time. It's fine.
Sorry, I couldn't resist the subtle jabs.
All right, so you heard it here first. The way to win in the Overwatch League is cheating. All right, so moving on.
Deflategate.
We have some narratives that you might want to follow going into season 2. The first is away weekends. Basically, they're going to have away weekends where the league is actually played at a different location. They're going to have 3 of them: Atlanta, Dallas, and blanking on the last one. Oh, L.A.
LA.
There's 2. There's Atlanta and Dallas. I thought there wasn't.
And
Atlanta,
Valiant.
Dallas, and L.A.
Oh, they're going to be playing like out of the actual arena, but
in a larger arena. I believe it's like 2,400, whereas the Blizzard Arena is like 450 occupancy.
It's the Valiant's arena. They built it last year, or got it last year, and that's the arena that they'll be playing in. So
that's news to me, and I'm the Valiant guy.
Well, but the thing
It's
that
not
you
far.
should be watching for is they cannot drop the ball on this to get investors to prove that they'll be able to sell something outside of the Blizzard arena. They need these
That's
to work.
huge. Yeah,
And I mean, they already
it has to
had
be successful.
Yeah, Brooklyn worked for sure. Brooklyn worked.
Yeah.
The only fail there was DJ Khalid.
I mean, it's easy to sell. something like
Overwatch
that, though, right?
you.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the big thing is I think they have 2 pretty solid ones that they know are going to work with Texas and LA, right?
Yeah.
They know that those are going to work. I think the wild card is Atlanta here. Can Atlanta bring in the crowd that needs to be brought in to show that home tournaments are a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like Overwatch is the guinea pig of the future of esports, right? So it's either going to work or it's going to fail, and if it fails, it's because of that, right?
Yeah.
But,
So
I mean,
Atlanta, it's all in your hands.
Yeah, and
Don't fail us now.
I play.
you gotta,
Don't drop the ball. I play.
yeah.
I mean, they have DeFrans, so I mean, we're totally fine.
Yeah.
The friends in the Overwatch League, dude.
Oh my god.
But I mean, I think the other thing we got to consider too is like raw ticket sales is probably not the best measure of whether Overwatch League is successful or not. Like, I mean, even in like professional baseball, raw ticket sales isn't what makes the money. It's sponsorship and merchandise.
And
things of that
the
nature.
concessions at the
Concessions are
actual
a part of that,
arenas.
right?
Well,
Usually
they showed
it's
us that in the finals at Brooklyn, where beers were like $14.
no,
That
that's
is
sports.
another thing I didn't even think about to put on the list. Will the Blizzard Arena sell beer this year?
Oh, I don't think so. I think the getting a liquor license in California isn't as easy as people think. So
Well, getting a
And they
liquor
knew it
license on
wasn't
the
gonna be for the
studio
long haul.
probably.
yeah, it's hard for them to wanna
Justify
get a
the
liquor license for
process.
exactly. You get a liquor license for solution, right? Even if that ends up just being like the studio where they do the shows, like Watch Point and stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
no point for a liquor license if it's just the analysts working there. Too.
I think
So-
the analysts.
I don't
would
know.
beg to
The
differ.
analysts, yeah. I think the analysts would love that. Bring me
Of course.
another.
Did
Yeah.
you see Monty and Susie's wedding? When they get a little liquor in them, they get real funny.
Yeah, that's maybe not a bad thing then. Maybe they should get the liquor.
Oh gosh.
So another thing to watch for is Wizard Young's team. Like, the story of the Washington D.C. team. Like, he got Otto and Corey. People are excited about that, but is it going to pan out? Like, is the mastermind going to master this?
Well, I think it's more saying like he claims to be the mastermind behind the success.
Sorry, my bad. Self-proclaimed mastermind.
Yeah, well,
Right.
well, there's one way to find out, right? And we'll find out in exactly 28 games.
And that's the
So-
thing is that like, and I guess that's a bummer because it's really not going to be all reflective of him. You
No, of
know,
course not.
he can't play the game. He can't make his players do things. Now, I think a coach is very valuable and brings a lot to the table and has a lot to do with the success of a team.
Of course.
But I mean, take like the Kansas City Chiefs, who Andy Reid's an amazing coach, but you give him Pat Mahomes and now he's like a god, right?
Yeah.
Whereas he was an amazing coach before, we just didn't have maybe the talent that we needed or the other
Well,
coaches.
that dude has found his fair share of awesome quarterbacks in his career. So
Yeah, he's
Right.
got a little bit of that in him, right? But I mean,
he
one
was
of my
integral in that, getting him. But
yeah, I mean, one of my favorite sayings in sports when I was as an athlete growing up, I always liked it. What's more important, X's and O's or Jims and Joes, right? If you got a guy that you got talent's going to beat the X and O guy every time now. If you've got both, then you're well on your way to a lot of success. But
right.
and obviously there's something to be said about having the guy that works hard and understands strategy, because there's also another great saying in sports, talent, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? So I mean, it's a little bit of everything. You gotta want to work hard and be talented, and if he doesn't have the players to do what he thinks he can do, it's not gonna matter. But now if he does, and we just don't know it, when and here soon we'll be talking about, man, he really is. He's the coach, right?
hold up.
Right.
Are you talking about practice? Wait,
Yeah,
hold on. You talking about practice?
Yeah.
All right, but another thing to kind of watch for is consistency for San Francisco. These guys have a lot of DPS. Are they going to know what DPS to play each match? Are they going to actually get this team going that's had so much hype and so much DPS talent on it forever? What do you like? What do you guys think?
They have too many DPS, is what I think. Think they need to trade somebody, get the value out of that. But I also think San Francisco had a struggle last year with just clutching, right? Like they got real close and then they'd blow it over and over and over again. And they were never a bad team, but they were never a great team because they couldn't finish anything off. They couldn't make the final punch. They always, maybe lost in a close game or they blew a whole stage or whatever, but like they just couldn't figure it out to come together when they had a lot of talented people to come together.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing with Shock, and I'm sure the people around the Shock are all saying, and fans of the Shock are saying, is like, hey, we didn't have Sinatra, we didn't have Super for most of the season. Like we had to wait for them to be old enough to play, right? And once they got in, they started playing better, but they still weren't where they wanted to be. I mean, Sinatra to me didn't look like
Sinatra flopped.
The six-figure player that he's supposed to be.
Bottom line is he flopped, and all the players will tell you he got scrim bucks for days, but scrim bucks don't matter.
Yeah.
Winning in the game matters.
Yeah, seeing it on stage is what really matters. And
Right.
so we'll see. I mean, they like Mel said, I think they have probably too much DPS. I mean, like they've got like what Baby Bay. Where's Baby Bay? Is he even a play? I mean, once they started bringing on some of the other DPS guys, he almost didn't play. And I felt he was probably not their best player, but he was probably the catalyst. He did a lot of leadership things for them that you don't always see in the scorecard.
I mean, we had the Baby Bay challenge. So.
Yeah,
I was just doing it right there for you.
Yeah, right. But I mean, they brought over Striker. Striker's pretty talented. Architect, we've seen him just pop off and has the potential in games for you. Rascal was pretty good too at times, but and I feel like
Rascal's new to the roster now too this season, so we haven't even seen him play with the roster.
Yeah, and I feel like what you're gonna see out of San Fran is they're gonna move Jaehong, I think is gonna, or not Jaehong, excuse me, J1 Sinatra. I think he's gonna end up moving to more of a tank role, playing a lot of Zarya. A lot of people seem to think his Zarya is just unreal.
His Zarya is good as long as he watches his main tank, which he didn't in the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna get to that. You beat me to it, but yeah, I think you're gonna see a little bit more main tank, or not main tank, more tank out of him, especially if it starts off goats like I think it's going to. So you'll probably see him playing a lot of that role, and maybe transitioning out of DPS into that role, which is crazy which is
so funny because they have all these DPS players, but goats looks to be the meta to start season 2.
Yeah, so maybe they're banking on on snipers becoming the big thing here soon, and we'll
having a
see,
plethora of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and the funny thing is the one DPS, Dante, right? And they moved him to Houston, and I thought he was their most consistent DPS. I thought he was the one that you knew what you were getting, even if he wasn't, necessarily popping off and giving you huge numbers game to game. He was hyper consistent. You weren't having peaks and valleys out of him. You were pretty steady, which there's something to be said about being steady, right? Like, so
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you for giving
and-
him to Houston. I
and,
much
like,
appreciate it.
Sinatra, like it's evident on his stream and everything else. The kid needs to grow up quite a bit. He was on his stream just the other day saying he's making millions, and he was talking to Space, and Space smartly kept his mouth shut and didn't say anything. And Sinatra just
Yeah.
needs to grow up some. I really think so.
yeah, I think that's a little bit of the, like you see with the NFL. You see a kid get a lot of money really quickly and doesn't know how to handle it.
Yep.
So I mean, that's I think that's kind of twofold. One, it's him understanding what it is to be a professional in the league, right, and how to carry yourself like a professional. And two, it's putting the right people around him that understand, hey, this is the way it should be.
Yeah, how
Which
to
I think-
how to teach him, because I mean I know I was a jackass when I was his age. I probably would have
Oh,
done
yeah.
the same things.
I mean, I still am. So
All
so
right. Well, let's leave
Yeah,
leave San Fran alone for now.
but I mean, part of, but we'll see. It's always everything. That's the beauty of the preseason, right? Everything's wait and see. So
Yep.
and winning again, like we said, winning cures a lot of. So problems seem to go away when you start winning. So we'll see what happens. A lot of people seem to be, even though they're DPS heavy, a lot of people seem to be pretty high on the shot going in.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily one of them, but
Yep. I'm definitely
Me
not
neither.
one of them. But when I watch all of those people and I yell at the screen as they rate them way too high. But
Yeah.
so the next thing I wanted to point out is the meta will greatly alter the success of certain teams and the failure of certain teams. We saw with Brigitte coming in, Dallas Fuel went from the arguably the worst team in the league, if not one of them, to arguably
Well,
the
no,
best
Shanghai
team
was
in the
worse,
league,
but
if not
Yeah.
one of them. Like I mean,
mean-
they went from worst to first with one character coming in. So with us not
Yeah.
having any idea of what the new characters are going to be,
They
or
also
what
got
the
a new coach.
yeah,
of
that
what
can
the
help.
patches. Yeah, but either way, it still doesn't matter. Like the meta. Okay, so NYX XL changed nothing, but went from suck to blow. Like went from really good to really bad.
Right, and Houston killed it stage 1 with Junkrat in the meta and died the other stages because Tracer was in the meta.
Well, why don't you let me
Yeah.
finish my question? So, my question to you two is like what do you think of that? Like how can people have their power rankings for the entire season when you don't know what stage 1 meta, what stage 2 meta, stage 3 meta, stage 4 meta is going to be? Power rankings are kind of stupid and a waste of time, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah. I guess I'll go first. Sorry.
go.
I think what you're probably going to look at there is the reason when people like power rankings. I mean, look at any sport ever. People just like to talk about who the top teams are and why, and I think history tells you who the good ones are and who the bad ones are, and which is why a lot of people want to say NYXL, right? Everyone wants to go NY as number one. But with Overwatch, it's tougher to actually quantify whether that's accurate or not because of the hero pool and the changes to the game. I mean, because everyone like NYXL in season 4 was quite terrible, and they didn't have to be good. They didn't need to be. And people were wondering, are they throwing matches? Are they this? Are they that? And I always thought maybe they just don't know how to handle the new meta. Maybe their hero pool isn't as deep as people think.
But they were going to embrace the fact that
Yeah,
people
I
thought
called it every.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
everybody
I
said they were
can't find them doing the
sandbagging.
same. Yeah.
I called it
Yeah.
from the start of stage 4, and I said no. They just don't know how to play it. And everybody was like, they're sandbagging. Nope, they just didn't know how to play it, and they thought they would be fine.
in their
Yeah.
defense, it could have been something similar to like when you play at a lower rank. So if they are sandbagging and they weren't trying as hard, if you're playing at a lower rank of play week after week, you aren't going to be as good as you were before. You're just not.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to project the whole season, right? But I mean, you got to, because that's what one fans talk about, and two, like anyone in the league wants to talk about who's going to win, right? So
Well,
but I think
what
Oh,
I
go ahead,
would say in that is that if we're going to do power rankings, do it stage for stage. The entire season,
Yeah.
with the way that Overwatch works and with the way things change, it's just a waste of time, really.
Well,
It's
hard to
the
project.
difference
I mean,
between the difference between that and traditional sports is traditional sports are going to change in the middle of
Exactly.
a season. You
Season,
know what
no,
I mean?
yeah.
And now
don't do that.
supposedly we're not going to change in the middle of a stage. So
In a
you'll
stage,
you'll
but not
you'll
a
see
season.
an entire
Which-
stage, which makes sense to make
smart.
power rankings.
That's
for
smart.
that.
Yeah, that's smart. And I think you shouldn't. I don't think you should be changing.
Right.
That's a
I think
a
if
good
anything,
idea.
it's for the memes, right? Like,
Yeah.
you projected this person in number 1 and you were so wrong, right? Like,
Yeah, of course. I mean, 100%.
it's just
I mean,
fun and funny. Like, it's not. I don't think anybody is seriously like standing behind this is exactly how it's going to end up, because everybody knows it's not the case.
Literally
Yeah, I mean-
every analyst in Overwatch League content creation was completely wrong about their projections going into season 1. And now
Well, I
there's
mean,
8
like-
more teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I just remember day one at the arena. So this is just a fun little story. Like the first day at the arena, they were talking about Lunatic High and the Soul Dynasty and how they are. Me and my buddies who didn't know much at the time, we equated them to the New York Yankees of Overwatch, and so immediately that was like, that's the team I do not want to win. I will not root for them.
And they were going up against Dallas Fuel. I just watched that recently, and Harry Hook played freaking Bastion on one point. Like, I mean, it was a crazy game.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so, being the trolls that me and my friends were at the time, that USA chant, that was me and my buddy. The ones chanting USA before the match, because only thing we knew was like, oh, that team's all Koreans, and this is Dallas. Dallas is Texas. Texas is America. We were like, let's let's make some noise. Yeah, let's make some USA chants.
America.
And so of course Monty shut us down real quick, because obviously he knew way more about it than we did, but we didn't care. It was just about having a good time and enjoying it. But,
yep, that's hilarious, because I was watching that like right before Monty came on the show, and I was like, and he comes in, he goes, "Okay, guys, the Dallas Fuel do not have they do not have the majority. There's one American player on there." That's so funny. Oh, that's great.
So we were like, whatever, we don't even care. Let's just have fun with it. So
all right, well, okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was, where the hell is the replay viewer? We have not gotten any update on if the replay viewer is going to be available day 1 to us. No one has said anything. We don't know. Like, we had it for the World Cup. Like, how could they not have it for the start of season 2? Where is that at?
Yeah. So I don't know. I won't.
Why don't you have the answers for us?
Yeah, I don't have one on this one. So I'm gonna guess that it'll be there. I mean, it seems kind of foolish to do that, unless maybe their plan is to create it as part of the all access thing.
We're 17 days away. Where
but if it's ready, they don't have to announce it until
they have to
up.
tell
I mean,
us.
It's not a to them, that's probably not a crucial news piece, right? Like, for content creators such as yourselves, it's probably important, right? But for them, it's like, as a whole, it's not probably a huge thing. I mean, I think they want you to probably watch it live anyway. They probably want you to watch it live, right?
Well, I have set up a second TV on a swivel mount in my living room just for the replay viewer, and it's not there.
Listen, what I think they're going to do is, I think they're probably in talks to see if they can get this incorporated with Twitch. And if they can't, they'll probably just release it the way it is, right? So, like, I think no news is not bad news. I think no news is...
It's just what it is, no news.
It's just, we're going to get it. We just don't know exactly what it's going to be, right? But if they can incorporate it into Twitch, That would be crucial for viewership.
Which, like I said, maybe they're going to make that like an all access pass. Maybe that's their goal.
Maybe
to maybe drive more of that up. To get more revenue out of that. It's quite possible.
That's all right. I paid for it last season, and apparently I didn't have to for like a long time. So.
I did not, but that's because I spent so much time at the arena. I didn't find the value in it.
Yeah. There really wasn't much value in it, to be quite honest, last year.
Yeah, I mean, like they were like,
yeah,
oh, we'll
the
give you
face
the
cams and stuff. Like I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I was like the Overwatch League skins. Like, well, I mean, those are cool. I get what, but I'd rather have the Valiant skins.
I mean, the best thing.
Give me the away skins.
The best thing you probably got from it was that crazy Lucio emote where he's playing the drums.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a legit piece. I agree.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go through these next ones pretty fast if we want to get through all of them we have written down because we're running a little long. So, is the third time the charm for Fisher?
Mel, I'll let you go, please. Ladies first.
I don't know. Fisher, you're a great player, but you're a toxic player. And I just think your toxicity isn't going to magically go away going to another team. Now, Fisher's good with success, and Fisher does better with success. So, Seoul Dynasty did not have success last year. Now, granted, Anna's in the meta. Ryu Jae-hong may, put forth some better, more prominent numbers, but
I will say the Gladiators did have success. Gladiators didn't have success until Fisher came either.
Correct. But Fisher's a ticking bomb, right? Like, you saw it twice now. That there is a point where Fisher blows up and Fisher self-demolishes his team, right? And I'm not saying that he is going to do that. I'm just saying it's something that they're going to have to actively be aware of and be ready for, right? Like, you don't pick up a problem child without knowing that you may have a problem child.
There's problems. Yeah, so I was just going to kind of echo Mel on that one. I was going to say this is going to go one of two ways and depend on one major thing. Are they winning or are they losing? Winning, like I said earlier, winning cures a lot of problems. So if they find themselves winning, and then probably won't be much of a problem. It'll probably be, it could even be so little of a problem that here we go. Oh, sure was a headache and a head case, and this was being said of him. Or it could go the exact polar opposite, where they go on a harsh losing streak. He becomes very vocal, very quite the problem in the scrim room. So who knows?
If they're winning and he's not the star, that could be a problem for him as well. Like,
yeah, I mean, you
if
see
they're
that a
winning
lot,
and Ryu Jae-hong is the star because he's hitting sleep darts on ulti and Genjis like nutso, then I think Fisher could also blow up. No, it's me that's doing it. Ryu Jae-hong can only do it because I'm here.
Yeah. I'm the carry. Yeah. So right. I mean, you could be right there. That's 100% not wrong. I think if that's the case and that starts happening, I think that's more of the strength of the leadership and the coaching staff and the general manager and the actual franchise more than it is Fisher. Because usually a strong franchise can deal with that, especially when they're winning. A good example of that would be, traditional sports. The teams that typically have the most success can sign a problem child, and the problem child becomes just another guy, right?
Yep. So to wrap that up, long story short, Fisher quit being a dick.
Yeah, Fisher, get your stuff together. Just play, man. You're one of the best tanks.
Nice.
Just play.
All right, so
just focus on wins, and you'll be fine.
Like, I'm gonna remind you guys again. I said fast.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So
you brought up Fisher and you said fast.
Yep, fast. Just be more concise with your point. So Twitch partnership. This was a huge deal for them to get the Twitch partnership. It ends. Their contract ends in 2019.
So and after this season, right?
Yeah. Will they be able to continue that partnership? Will Twitch even want it after Overwatch League has, opened up ESPN and Disney into the scene? What do you guys think of that?
I'll go quick. I think if they partnered with Twitch to get the viewer. I think they'll keep it. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be increased viewership. 2, I think ESPN and Disney are going to give some viewership, but I don't think they're going to take the majority of the viewership. I think ESPN and Disney is looking at a different demographic than Twitch is.
I think
People
that's
that
a good
watch
point.
Twitch like Twitch. People that watch TV like to watch it on TV, right?
Yeah.
And I think you can stream it from your phone to your TV on Twitch and still get the experience that you get on Twitch. So I don't think it'll affect the numbers as much as people are thinking. Done.
Couldn't have said that any better. That's literally what I was gonna say. I think the whole Disney thing is literally what she's designed to reach a different demographic. It's designed to reach the old school sports guy that likes to sit on his couch and show them what this is and get them involved. I think that was a smart move by Blizzard to do
100%.
that, to get Disney involved and get ESPN. But I still think the Twitch, I think Blizzard's smart and I think Twitch they're both smart and they understand that this is our core viewership. And,
I think
right.
as long
they're going to stick with that.
Yeah, I think as long as the Twitch numbers don't drop because of it, I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, and
I think it drops significantly. I think you can expect them to drop just in general. I don't think it's the worst thing.
I don't, though. I don't think they're going to drop. I think because of the decrease in games, which means it's less time that they have to broadcast, means it's easier for people to get there, right? It's not like you're straining to watch 8 hours, 10 hours of games 4 days a week. So they've decreased games and there's more teams, so there's more variety. I mean, I think viewership will go up overall. I don't know if it's going to be massive, but I think as a whole, it's going to.
All right.
And you can rewatch on Twitch.
What week does Shanghai get their first win?
Season 3. I'm just kidding.
Season 3.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they've made a lot of changes, so figure that one out.
Week 3.
All right, week 3. I
don't even know who they.
I abstain from the question. So Vancouver brought in. They're the only expansion team to bring in a full roster. They brought in Runaway. What do you think? Do you think they're going to have success?
Wait, can I take back my last answer and say week 4 when they play Dallas Fuel?
Yeah.
Done.
Troll.
Okay, sorry. What was your question about Vancouver?
You guys are going to make editing so hard for me to borrow.
He asked with the Vancouver bringing in the full roster, do you think how much success do you think they have if they have success?
I think they've proven that they can play as a team. So I think that they will have success. They're coming in ahead of expansion teams that are coming in with a bunch of different people that are going to have to find their synergy. These players already have their synergy, so I think that's in favor of them. Now, these players are also at like their high, where they're kind of potentially a little overconfident. So their overconfidence may bring them down a little bit once they see what it's like playing on the stage with these really, really good teams. And they haven't experienced a lot of failure lately. So failure could push them in a different direction that we've seen from them in contenders.
Depending on how the teams deal with it. But you say that, but like Lunatic High, aka Soul Dynasty, and Envious, aka Dallas Fuel, came in with tons of synergy and flopped. So I don't know that that's a good call.
I think that's kind of what she was getting at, right? Like it's quite possible that they don't handle success or I guess failure well. I think maybe like a lot of from what I've been reading through the Twitterverse, let's just put it that way. A lot of people seem to think Vancouver is going to be good. And some people are even ranking them pretty high.
There's a lot of Runaway fans.
Yeah, right. But I mean, we'll see. There was a reason they weren't in the original 12, right? So if they weren't the original 12 for a reason, maybe there was a reason for that.
Well, and they started being successful in contenders when Al started.
Right. So
I just want to remind everybody, guys. Contenders is not the Overwatch League. It's not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a different tier.
It's really not. It's completely
the major
different
leagues versus
tier.
the minor leagues. It's
right.
different.
Yeah.
So I mean, are they going to have success? Probably. How much is? We'll see. Are they going to make the playoffs? Maybe. I'm going to say probably. probably, but we'll see. We'll see. There's a long way from here to then.
I think
be a wild card.
I think they're gonna do good, but we'll just have to see. I don't think they're gonna do as good as a lot of people are thinking. But
yeah, I have reserve judgment. I'll wait and see on that.
All right, so we're just gonna have to cut these next questions off until next week because we are running super long, guys.
That's fine.
Yeah. Sorry, talking more than I realized.
No, I think we just had.
Victor.
I think
Definitely
we
Victor's
we got through half of them. So if we kept going, this would be a 2-hour long show. So we will save them for next week and
The calm before the storm.
yeah,
Yes.
we'll talk about them then. One thing I do want to hit on is Thermogenic had a question for all of us. Who do you think your 3 MVPs are going to be? I will go ahead and give mine, and then Mel, I'm going to need you to give IA plays after because I cannot switch the chats to look at what his was. But I will give mine, and I'm going to say EQO, Fisher, and DeFran.
Okay. All right. All right.
DeFran's in the Overwatch League, dude.
I could see, I guess I could see why. Yeah. I didn't know this was a popularity contest. I thought it was a talent thing, but, you know.
Right.
I'm saying, man. You just watch and you see. Clip it, chat.
Watch and learn, right?
Okay. All right. So Andres had Bedozan, Flower, and Jonak.
Okay.
Jonak.
Those all make sense to me. I definitely thought about 2 or 3 of those. That makes sense. Mel, go ahead.
I will say Carpe, Linkser.
Okay.
And
Gotta get the homer pick. I agree with you there.
Jonak.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out there. I don't think any of the 3 I'm gonna pick are actually gonna do it.
Dude, mine were completely for the memes, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to say Jonak, right? Jonak. Sorry. You got to say Jonak. I mean, he was the stage 1 or season 1 MVP, so it'd almost be a disservice to not include him. But I'll give you 3 others. I actually I tried to do it in a DPS, healer, and tank. So DPS, I actually thought Linkser.
Yes.
I was actually going to go with Linkser. I find if we actually get back to a snipers playing a pretty prominent part, I still think he's one of the best counter snipers in the game. I went with that one for my DPS. Tank was my homer pick, so I went with Space because I still think I think by the end of the season, we might be talking about him being the best tank in the game. Not one of, but the best tank.
Okay, so the majority of the players will tell you Fury or Space are the 2 best divas in the league as of last year. So
yeah,
it's a good call.
So I'll go with that. And then healer was kind of tough. I mean, Jonak was, but I actually decided let's go with a traditional healer. So I actually, because he's Wild Arc, the Mercy.
I love Arc.
Yeah, everybody forgets about Arc made Jonak.
Oh well, Hunter. That's why I went with him. His ability to heal, you know, his healing per 10 minutes was so high that it enabled Jonak to play Zen the way he does. He didn't have to focus on healing as much, which is why his healing numbers were lower than the rest of the team, right?
Well, and he damaged,
or the rest of the league, I should say.
He damage boosted Jonak too. Quite a bit.
So it created a lot of Jonak's ability to create the damage he did. No, it's not to say Jonak isn't MVP. I mean, what's the saying? It takes a village.
Dude!
Because of the team he was on and the support he got from the team he was on.
Did you see?
They protected him like a nut.
Did you see the video? Okay, so there was a whole bunch of tweets where NYXL players answered tweets to him, and they answered it via video. And Jonak was why did you why did you damn it, what was it? It was something like, do you feel you choked in the finals of the Overwatch League, blah 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 blah, and then Jodak just looks up and he goes, I did.
Oh,
He's just like, it was
heartbreaking.
hilarious. It was so heartbreaking. You just wanted to hug him. He was like, I did.
Jonak or Ark?
Jodak,
Oh.
yeah. I
Jonak's way
mean,
too-
he completely choked, but like that's why it was so cute, because he just looks at, he reads it out,
Kinda
and he
owned
looks
it,
up
huh?
at the camera and he
All right.
goes, I did.
Oh,
And you're
Oh my
like,
God.
oh, come here, buddy. You did so well throughout the entire time. Oh, it was so good. All right, well,
Listen, he had plenty of highs. One low isn't going to kill the guy.
yeah. And as far as who's actually going to win MVP, it's probably somebody we're not even thinking of, to be honest. Like, I mean,
Right.
look at last season, Jonak starting. I mean, if they were, that
He
guy
was
needs
a
a job.
no-name.
Yeah, that guy needs a job somewhere. If you were thinking Jonak before the season, right?
Right.
But everyone was talking, Jae Hong and Jae Hong's the LeBron James of Overwatch League,
And then Ana
another
went out
reason.
of the meta.
And
Sorry.
another
then they
reason
turned him
I'm not
into
a big,
Rio J. Kong.
yeah. So, but hey, who knows? We'll see. I mean, we'll see. The other reason I think Jonak be as strong as he was is apparently there's people out there saying that his Ana game is better than his Zen. And if that's the case, and with the Ana being the
Oh,
way she is
dude,
right
his
now,
Ana
maybe-
game is way better than his Zen. Way
So,
better.
How is that possible?
so maybe we're about to just see a game-changing Ana. So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna
Oh,
be fun.
wait. Sorry.
gonna be fun.
I gotta correct myself. I thought you were talking about Rio Jae Hong. His Ana
yeah,
is far
absolutely.
better than his Zen. I don't.
Of course.
Jonak's Ana's pretty good. I've watched him on stream. It's pretty good, but it's hard to tell when they're not playing. When they're just playing on ladder duo queuing,
Yeah,
it's
when-
kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Right.
All right,
Hard
well,
to get consistent competition. So.
that's going to wrap up this week's episode. We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at @AlRecap. If you want to say something a little longer, please send your emails to contact@alrecap.com. You can also find us in the Omnic Lab Discord. You can get there by going to your favorite browser of choice and typing discord.me/OmnicLab. We had game night this last weekend. We had 3 lobbies. It was awesome. You guys should come the next time. All SRs are welcome. Get to play with high and low SR players alike. It is a good time. I think Ham Tornado tweeted at me today that she's going to come to the next one, so it's going to be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Cavalry game night's on the 8th, by the way. February 8th.
Oh, okay, cool. And that's
right before
at
the Overwatch Leagues.
yeah. That's
I will not be a part of that. That's the week I go to the wedding for my buddy. So
Okay.
unless
It's a
I can
decent
convince,
excuse.
unless I can convince my wife to let me bring the PC with me, but
Good luck.
yeah, I don't see that one happening.
I play games and Bob can't even convince me of that, so.
So, but yeah,
okay. We stream live every week on Twitch. Join us at twitch.tv/AlRecap to see the live show. You can see, if you come to this one and just check out the VOD, you'll see about 20 minutes I cut out. So enjoy.
Rude.
You can find that at twitch.tv/AlRecap. Lastly, how can you support the show? Well, you can support us for free by listening and telling your friends. You could also go one step further and leave us a rating or a review on iTunes. We read all 5-star reviews. Mel,
Did get one this week. Sorry.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Mel, why don't you read us the review we got this week?
Man. Okay, so from Rick, gave us 5 stars, and he said, wanted to learn the owl scene. This is an in-depth owl coverage I was looking for. Thanks. Thanks, Brigga.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Here to help.
If you feel compelled to support us even further, you can go to patreon.com/owlrecap. You can pledge $1 or more per episode. We're doing the giveaway for the next 3 months. We will be taking one Patreon each month. You will get a $20 gift card if you win that. We don't have a lot of Patreons at the moment, so it's a good It's a good investment to throw a buck or two in.
When
Also,
are we doing the drawing?
Drawing for what?
Next week for month of January?
For the Patreon, we'll be doing the drawing after week 1.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll next week. I believe, is it next week? No,
Next week's the 4th.
Yeah, the week after next week, we will be doing the live drawing for the Twitter competition to win a 2018 BlizzCon goodie bag. All you have to do is, if you go to our Twitter and you're following, you like the post that is pinned, you retweet it, and you tag a friend, and that puts you in running to win the 2018 BlizzCon goodie bag. And then the Patreon contest will be the week after that. Sorry, Brick, you were saying?
I will go do that now.
Yeah. Do it. Everybody
There
everybody should. It is unopened too, so it'll be really cool. And I've been saying for a few weeks, the additional content we have planned for season 2 is Victor Young right here. And thanks to our Patreons, his recording equipment is in the mail, and he will be doing interviews for us. Thank you guys for your support. All right, Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MelOverwatch, or you can listen to general Overwatch news on the Cavalry every week on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Awesome. All right, Victor, where can they find you?
Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, at @BrickMcVictory basically is my handle for almost everything I use where socials go. Those are pretty much the prevalent ones. I'm not a big, Instagram user, but I do have an Instagram. But
I'm sure
Instagram,
you post selfies all day.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And your food.
This
here's
is the
a
moneymaker,
butt
right?
shot.
So.
Here's
That's right. Yeah, $15 for the lewd. Sign up for my page. I'm just kidding.
Man.
But yeah, no, Instagram and Twitter are pretty much the most prominent ones I use, and then I stream on Twitch too sometimes. But they're all at @BrickMcVictory. Feel free to like, subscribe, follow. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, as always, you can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I'll recap out.
Bye.
All right, we're still live, but you can stop your local recording. Oh my God, Mel! I finally know how John felt when I interrupted him all through his outros.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh! No, I don't forget.
Have in the show notes.
Yeah, I have. Well, I have everything in my intro and outro notes, though. What's up, chat? Thank you guys for being so active tonight. It was awesome.
You told me I could stop recording, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and stop recording. Just don't close that window. We'll tell you how to export in a second. Chat, do you have any questions for us live before we raid somebody? Actually, I have to go. I'll be right back.
Rick, if you go to File, Export.
File, Export. Okay.
Export is.
What's the wave you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then.
Just put it in an Audacity folder, I guess.
Yeah, or wherever you want, so you can find it to upload it to the drive.
Okay. What episode was this?
66.
You. I'll just put it like a tag. I guess. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. use arrow keys or enter. Oh, I guess I could enter that. I guess I could have put all that information in the media metadata tags.
Oh no, it's fine.
Exporting as a wave.
Okay. I will share this with you so you can upload it.
Usually just keep my message. Usually just message my question when I come up with them. Fair enough. That's good. Gives us things to talk about.
Silverloki has good questions. Yeah, it's good for recording. We edit in Audition.
Sure.
But...
Okay. I guess I put it in audio files. Assume that's where I should.
From that link?
Yeah.
Yeah, put it in audio files and then off season.
Off season. Oh, duh.
Yeah,
Just anywhere it's fine.
Audacity is awesome for a free program, but for editing, it's really sucky.
I assume I just hit upload. Probably overthinking.
Yes.
But,
I think so.
All right, let's see.
No questions? You don't have any? Nobody wants to make fun of me for getting my butt whooped in the tournament today? Nothing, chat? You can make fun of me. It's okay.
As long as you don't make fun of me.
Yeah, no, Mel's perfect.
Always.
Don't tell me. I put it somewhere now. I can't find it. Of course. Let's try this.
I always do that. But usually I go to recents. It's there. Or quick access. It's right there.
Aloof is still pissed about game night. He says that I shattered through his shield. It's called use of the force, buddy.
He's cheating. He's like New England.
Hacks.
It's called Shattergate. Don't worry about it.
Shattergate. What the? I'll just do this. Let's just do it this way. Make it look like I'm going to do another one. See if I can figure out where it went.
Well, guys, we really do appreciate you guys coming in chat. I'm going to look for somebody to raid. Who do we got here? Try to find somebody playing Overwatch. Who is this? I have so many people that I follow that I don't know.
Faria is really good, but she has 710 viewers.
Let's
work on the small guy.
Wait, the high. Oh no, we gotta raid High Noon, dude.
No, they're not on.
They are foul players.
Oh, foul play. Okay, yeah.
Tell, they are good buddies. Tell them we love them. Tell them hi. And tell them that my new podcast is going to kick their butt in fantasy. Oh, that's Al by the numbers too. I probably should have said something about that. Oh well.
Who do I get? Whose team am I on? Can I be on their team, foul plays team?
No, you're on your own team. You're on the cavalry team, or the Al recap team. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you later. All right, and ending stream.